In this video, I'm going to discuss road signs that look very similar that causes confusion, especially from what I'm seeing in the classroom week in, week out. So I'm going to give you a full explanation of what the sign means. I'm going to give you some visual clues of where you may see the signs and give you the possible question that the DVSA may ask you on the theory test. So if you struggle with road signs, especially these particular ones, this video is for you. So I'm going to start off with red circles first, the ones that pupils get confused with. So before we get into detail, let me just explain what a red circle is. Red circles give orders. So this they show you sometimes in the test, and literally ask you which one of these signs at your 4 options give you orders. Red circles give you orders. Little tip for you, as I like to do, give you hints and tips along the way. 95% of red circles are no's. I just repeat that. 95% of red circles are no's. So if you get a red circle that you don't know the answer to, don't stress, panic or freak out. All you got to do is go to your 4 options and then isolate the 2 with no's. They always give you 2 with no's. Then once you isolate the 2 with no's, go back to what the circle is, and it becomes very easy to work out what the answer is from there, because the answers are totally opposite to each other, so you can't mess it up with that. So red circles are no's, 95% of them is a no. So examples, these 2, week in, week out, we have this in the classroom and pupils get confused. So the top one will ask you the question, which one of these signs, obviously they give you the 4 options, means no motor vehicles. They normally go for the bottom one. It's a top one: motorbike, motor car, no motor vehicles. That's the easiest way to remember it. Motorbike, motor car, no. Remember, 95% of red circles are no's. No motor vehicles. The one underneath is no overtaking. Car side by side is no overtaking. So again, that's the easiest way to remember, because when you overtake, you pass either the left or the right, depending on what situation you are in. So we come to the next 2. The top one, red X, reinforce. Again, that's the easiest way to remember. It's a red X. Wrong. Don't do it. No stopping at any time. You normally find those on roads where they're trying to keep clear, helping the traffic to flow. So there's no stopping at any time. The image underneath with the red diagonal line, just one diagonal line, is your waiting restrictions. It means you can stop to drop off or pick up your passengers, but you cannot wait for them. You have to move on, kick them out, pick them up, whatever it is, move on, no waiting whatsoever. So example of this, as you can see, no stopping at any time is the double yellow lines. All they're trying to do is keep the road clear so it keeps the traffic flowing. No hold up. Now we come to the blue sign, rectangle. This sign means a one-way street or one-way road. So it's a rectangle arrow going up, one-way street or one-way road. They can word it either way. An example of this, image is a little bit blurry, but if you look either left or right on the pavement, that's where signs are. So when I tell my people to drive, scan the road left to right, right to left, up and down, that's where signs are. You can see the arrow telling the cars come back to enter. It's a one-way road, one-way street. All the traffic will be going in the same direction. Look what we have here. We got a circle with an arrow, similar to the image above, but the one below is ahead only. I will add blue circles. All blue circles are mandatory. They're now using the word mandatory. About a year and a half and longer, they used to use the word instructions or positive instructions to describe the signs, but now they're using the word mandatory. If you're using apps, you're going to be fine. The apps have been updated to reflect this. But if you're doing books, be very careful that your books aren't outdated. So let me just repeat that. Blue circles. Now to ask you what a blue circle means, it's mandatory. This circle means ahead only. The top image is a one-way street, one-way road. So again, do not get confused with this. Now we have a combination of rectangles and circles. So the top image means you have priority over oncoming traffic. Remember, when you look at images, you're looking from the bottom to top. You've got to imagine that you're going from the bottom to top. So So you're going up with the big arrow, which means you have priority over the oncoming traffic, which is the small arrow. I will add driving lessons and your driving test. They may not give it to you because you've got L plates on, so factor that in to the equation when you're doing your driving lessons for the safety factor. But for the theory test, they always keep you in a safe situation. You have priority in this situation. Now, at the beginning of the video, when we talked about circles, red circles, I said to you 95% of red circles are no's. This is the 5%. It means you have to give way to oncoming traffic. So you're going up with the small arrow and the black arrow, which is big, is coming down. So you have to give way to oncoming traffic. So that's part of the 5%. You won't have a no in your answer. It's just going to be give way to oncoming traffic. Examples of this, as you can see, you should be going up. And if you look on the right hand side where the car's coming towards you, there's a give way sign. So they would be there giving way to you, basically. But I will add, they may not give it to you as a learner driver, so factor that in. And then on the flip side, you're going up. Look how the pavement's coming out from the left. Again, just reducing your speed. You should be giving way to oncoming traffic in this situation. Then move on to triangles. Triangles are warning. They let you know there's a problem coming up. You just have to figure out what it is from the sign that they show you. So triangles are warnings. So the type of images that you're going to see in triangles that are confusing are these two. So the top one is dual carriageway ends. The white bit in the middle is the central reservation. And as you go up, it becomes a solid black line. So that means dual carriageway ends. The bottom one, again, looks similar, but is road narrows on both sides. You can get signs on the theory test which road narrows on one side or the other. But on this particular one, the road narrows on both sides. It does look similar to the top one. Let me just repeat that. Your top one is dual carriageway ends, and the bottom one is the road narrows on both sides. So when the dual carriageway ends, I'll give an example. So the example where you may see a dual carriageway, similar to here. So the grass bit in the middle is your central reservation. It's not always a crash barrier, it's always something that separates the traffic in the middle. So that's your central reservation. And on the signs, you can see dual carriageways ending. So when you see the dual carriageway end sign, you normally may see this sign, the top one. So it's two-way traffic straight ahead. Again, you're going up with the arrow's coming down. Two-way traffic straight ahead. So it's reminding you you're going back into a single carriageway. But look at the image below. Again, similar. Again, people get confused with this. The bottom one is two-way traffic crosses a one-way road. Remember, you're going from bottom to top on a one-way road, and the arrows are going across your path. So examples of this is here, two-way traffic straight ahead. So you're going up with the parked cars and there'll be traffic coming down towards you. So two-way traffic straight ahead. And on the bottom one, is two-way traffic crosses a one-way street. If you look carefully at the lines ahead, the give way lines, they go across the full width of the road. That suggests you're in a one-way road, one-way street, and you can see the arrows is crossing the one-way road or the one-way street's path, depending on how they want to word it. The next two triangles that people get confused with is this one. The 10%, 20% is irrelevant. I can show you either one of them. It's just how to read it. So read it like a book, because when you read the book, you go from left to right with the words. So with the top image 10%, you're going towards the back of the triangle and then going down with the 10%. So that's a steep gradient down. With the 20%, you're going up the gradient and then you're going down the back of the triangle. So that's a steep gradient up. So read it from left to right. With the 10%, you're going down with the 10%. That's steep gradient down. With the 20%, you're going up. That's a steep gradient up. And examples of this one is you probably can't tell from the image, but you're going up a gradient on this one. And then on this one, you can see from the image that you are going down the gradient. So the next triangles are these two, level crossing. So train, if it's just a train on its own, it's a level crossing without gate or barrier. If it's got a gate, which is the bottom image, it's level crossing with gate or barrier. So again, people get confused whether it's got a gate or not. So just a train on its own, no gate. With the gate, with gate. And examples of this one here. So if you look at the sign, it's above the level crossing sign. So it's triangle train, level crossing with no gate or barrier. If you look in the distance on the left, there's a red X in the distance. I'm going to come to that in a minute because that also comes up on the theory test sometimes, but I will tackle that in a minute after I show you the next example with a gate. So this one, triangle with a gate, says level crossing with gate or barrier. And if you look in the distance left and right, you can see the red and white barriers are up at this point in time. So level crossing without gate or barrier. Now I did mention about the red X. That comes up on the theory test sometimes. So what's the meaning of the red X? Means level crossing without gate or barrier. Let me just go back to the first example. So again, if you look in the distance, you can see the red X. They're just reinforcing there's no gate or barrier, because if you get that decision wrong, you know what the outcome is going to be on them. So level crossing without gate or barrier is the meaning behind the red X. They may also ask you what the red X is called. The red X is called a St. Andrew's cross. Let me just repeat that. The red X is called a St. Andrew's cross. The meaning is level crossing without gate or barrier. Then we come to the next two, which is a hump bridge, which is the top one, and the bottom one is speed humps. Again, for some reason, pupils get confused with this. The easiest way to remember this is the white bit in the middle suggests you can go under as well as over. With the bottom image, it's a solid black image. You can't go under, so it's only over. That's your traffic calming measures. You have three types of traffic calming measure, which is your speed hump, width restriction, and your chicanes. If the question comes up, what do you do in a traffic calming measure area? The answer is reduce your speed, not maintain your speed, which is a common answer. It's reduce your speed. Again, an example of this is there. If you look at the triangle, it's telling you there's humps for half a mile. It also tells you the blue sign above that, traffic calming measures. Now you've got the humps on the floor from, you can see, you also got the triangles there. Sometimes they show you the image of the triangle and ask you what that means. So they don't always show you the triangle, they just show you the white triangle on the speed hump. And again, you now know it's a speed hump. Now for some bonuses, I'm going to give you some added bonus, not because the sign's confusing, because people just don't know what the sign means. And obviously if you don't know what the sign means, you can't really choose the correct answer. As I say, if you understand the questions, you'll understand the answers, you should be passing all day long. So I'm just going to clear up some confusion about other signs and their meanings behind it. So first and foremost is a ford. A lot of people don't know what a ford is. Ford is just a lot of surface water. It could be flooding, burst pipe, whatever it happens to be. Just a lot of surface water. So the question for this is, how do you drive through a ford? The answer is slowly and a low gear, ideally first or second gear, so not to splash with that. And again, an example of that is here. So there's been a flooding, and then you can be driving through that nice and slow, first or second gear, not to splash. The other question that comes up with that is, what do you do when you come out the other side of a ford? And you're going to be trying your brakes or test your brakes. Again, they can word it either way. And you want to be testing your brakes because obviously you've just gone through a lot of surface water. And obviously your wheels are covered, your brakes are being covered with water. So before speeding off, all you've got to do is tap your brakes, see if the car responds by slowing down. If it doesn't, then obviously roll to a stop, let them dry out. If it does respond, accelerate nice and gently and go on your merry way. Then we have the R. What does the R stand for is the common question. Stands for ring road. A ring road is just a road that rings a particular town, village, whatever happens to be. For example, where I live, M25 is local, M25 is a ring road, it rings London. In other words, if you start at point A on that particular road, do not turn left or right, you're going to end up back at point A. South Circular, North Circular are the ones that I come to mind from where I live. So a ring road is just a road that rings a town or village. You don't need to know what it is, you just need to know what it means. Now you know that hopefully you picked the right answer. For some reason, Most people go for big roundabout even though they know it's not the right answer for that. And that's just an example of the image. It's just a ring road, so like I said, if you don't turn left or right, at some point you're going to come back to what you see there on the screen if you was on that particular road. Hopefully you got some benefit from that and made things a little bit clearer for you and gives you a better frame of mind of passing your theory test. If you did get some benefit from that, like, comment below and subscribe. YouTube's going to show you a video here, I'm going to show you a video here. Go off and watch which one's relevant to you, and I shall catch you in the next video.